This podcast is brought to you by Lacrosse growing the game one podcast at a time. What's going on, LaxAllStars? This is Justin Skaggs. Welcome to the Lacrosse podcast, coming to you live from Philadelphia here in my stick making wood shop, where we convert this to a little podcast studio on a weekly basis. Awesome week in the NLL. We're getting to the middle portion, so we're going to do our weekly recap and maybe have a few conversations about standings and what teams need to do moving forward to get to a good playoff position. In addition to that, we have an amazing interview with Devan and Renee from the NLL, and we talk about what it's like to kind of be the faces of that organization for, well, I guess their equivalent show, their broadcast of weekly events. And they're doing a great job, and I wanted to get their perspective while I was over there in Center City. So here is a quick word from our sponsor, which, guess what? It's me. Wooden sticks haven't died, they've just evolved. A hickory box lacrosse frame can still be used. It can play against plastic and metal, and in the right hands, it can win. When it's all said and done, and my stick making days are over, it's humbling to think that my sticks will still be out there. My better half, Rich Snow, is now in here. I think we can move towards a weekly recap. Are you double teaming right now? Are you stringing sticks?
I don't know if you remember, but Bill and Kong were putting in work, and we gotta make sure we keep them supplied properly.
Rich is making double money right now. Boom, double dip. All right, so also quick note: thanks to Bill and Kong for taking the Box Pro down there to Sin City. Those videos are awesome. You guys can check those out on LaxAllStars, as well as any other content we have going on. And quick shout out, we are actually both rocking the Black History Month shirt.
Ah, you see that? You see that freshness? You see that?
Oh wait, hold on. We have another one.
Ah,
boom.
Yeah.
So 25% of all the proceeds from this shirt, we're printing them here in house. You set that up. Who's it going to?
All right, so 25% of the proceeds are going to a local Philadelphia lacrosse youth organization that we like to partner with, Roadrunners Lacrosse, the Concessing Roadrunners.
Boom.
They actually play on the field in my old neighborhood. First house I ever had as a grown-up in Philadelphia.
As a grown-up.
Yeah.
It's funny. There's before and after times. There's before that house and after that house.
I love that house.
All right, so that's awesome. If you guys want to help donate to that cause, these shirts will only be available this month. You can get them on woodlacrossesticks.com. Let's get into it. So the Swarm had quite the busy week, the busiest week in the NLL.
Yeah.
And they cleaned house. They cleaned up pretty well.
They did well.
So first and foremost, there was a heavy showing from the goalies in their first game, and they won 10-8, and that puts the Wolves down to 500 for the entire season. So that puts them in a bit of a pickle.
You know what's wild about this season, and it was actually just brought to my attention, the new playoff format. The Wings are still in playoff contention. So like everyone is still in playoff contention right now, apparently.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do
you want to go into that, or is it just
honestly
everyone gets to play?
I don't even understand the math of it yet, but I did just hear that like we're still not out of the playoffs. So
can you take a look at that and give us a report for that next week?
Oh, absolutely.
All right. So that nonsensical statement that Rich is pretty confident in should get flushed out in the next couple of days.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Speaking of Philadelphia, let's just go ahead and get into it. I got a maybe slightly inebriated text from Rich. He was super, super stoked on it.
I mean, I was inebriated off of joy.
Is that what it is?
Mm-hmm.
Well, we won a game.
We did. It was a great game too. We're still having some of the same issues we used to have. We were crushing Rochester at one point, and actually, as I was going back through the pictures in my phone, they were hilarious because I had one photo that was like 9-5. Of the scoreboard, and I was like, yeah, and I forgot to post it because it got exciting, and then I took another picture and looked at my phone, and it was like 12-12, and I was like, what happened? It was just 9-5, but people are complaining about that over and back call at the end, but I would like to bring to everyone's attention the refs blew a couple calls that game, so I think
they blow a couple in every game.
Yeah,
but,
well, if we're going to complain about calls that went directly to goals, there was also a Rochester goal that was immediately a blown call that went to a goal. So
everyone's going to chirp about everything, and if the chips don't fall in your direction, it's part of the game you got to play.
But we got one, baby. Woo. That's right.
Woo. I like a respectable one. Everybody gets
one.
All right, guys. So Calgary Roughnecks, Vancouver. That was probably the closest game of the week. And it was kind of crazy because Calgary actually ran through a 3-point lead right in the beginning. I thought this was about to be a complete and total wash.
Yeah, it was a good game, though.
Yeah, it was great.
A good game.
Eric Penny got 42 out of 50. I mean, this was a whole week of goalies. Going back to the Swarm game, I mean, that was a goalie-driven game as well.
Yeah, it's crazy, too, because, I was just picking my favorite goals, and there were so many awesome goals this weekend, but some of my favorite goals were coming from that Vancouver, the Vancouver Calgary game. I won't get too far into that, but
where did they see your top picks? Didn't we just do that?
Oh yeah, we did. So you can check out my top 5 picks for goals/plays so far this season on the Lax Factor podcast. I believe that episode will be dropping Saturday.
Oh, and we will definitely shamelessly repost it because we, are busy. Obviously, you're literally stringing a stick on the podcast.
I am currently stringing a stick.
So yeah, we will be recycling that, so you don't have to go anywhere for it. The Bandits Mammoth. I really enjoyed this. The first ended up again. I mean, this was an entire week of awesome goalies and point surges. Every single game. I mean, 4-0 at the end of the first, and the Bandits won out against the Mammoth.
This is another game that had one of my top goals of the season so far. There, O'Connor. I think it was off a loose ball. He just pressures it, to the end boards. And as he turns around, Chase Frazier's right there, in midair, and he tosses him an alley-oop pass, and he just it was literally basketball, throw the ball in the air, dude caught it in the air and just jammed it on the goalie. There was some shooting going on.
The Bandits have a really interesting season going on. Their road to victory is pretty much going to be faced outside of their home court. So they are going to be basically defining the rest of their season, for the most part, on wins that they can pick up on the road.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't seem to be too much of an issue so far this season. So I don't see it being that hard for them to keep crushing it, especially with some wild goals like they're having. I didn't see Josh. I didn't see Byrne in the lineup this week, so I don't know what's going on. I haven't checked the injury report, but I don't think I've seen him in the last couple weeks. I don't know what's going on there. But hey, they're still picking up wins and they're still doing the thing.
Hey, you can always shoot an email to Justin at LaxAllStars if you know what's going on with that. What?
I know.
Hey, someone's gonna be like, hey, I did all the research.
I was gonna say, hey, listen, we are busy.
We are busy. Okay, let's go full circle. Georgia versus Rochester. That was an awesome game, and let's all take a moment for the great one. John Grant Jr.'s number got retired, number 24.
Yeah.
Which is also, not a number that most people really go hawking after. So that's fine too.
Yeah, you know what? It's not. And
it's when somebody we have to retire number 8. Cal Ripken, you're a dick. Every kid loves number 8.
Yeah, when I got into lacrosse or box lacrosse, John and Rochester was the squad. Rochester used to be my team, and then I aged properly and developed my Wings fandom. But no, John was always the man. It was great to see his number retired, getting his proper respects. It's going to be weird watching lacrosse without Grant in it anymore, but he's doing his thing. We'll see how Air Force does this. We'll see how Air Force does this season.
I'm sure they'll do just fine. If not this season, get a couple under his belt. I'm sure he'll rebuild anything he needs.
Yeah.
So again, common theme. We're talking about surging goals. We had a very big lull in the third quarter. It was kind of a boring third quarter, and then out of nowhere, Georgia just goes and rips 3 straight goals. You had a fourth that wasn't evenly matched, but for all intent and purposes, it was pretty fair. And that just didn't make up for that 3-point surge, and they lost it. And Georgia comes out with a second W, and they are sitting pretty at 7-2. And it's prediction time, Richard.
Oh boy,
I got Georgia. I got Georgia on the whole thing, and you know what? I got 5 on it.
Okay.
Are you doing this?
Sure. No, but here's the thing though, because you can go back into the earlier episodes, and I said I thought Georgia was going to take the whole thing first day. So.
And I think I called you a dick.
Yeah, no, you did. but also though, that's why I think you made a smart choice today.
All right, so we can't bet each other.
No, but
are we both going on Georgia? Is that the whole lacrosse podcast?
Well, here's the thing. We could say, who do you think will meet Georgia? You know what I mean? And or I guess you wanna. No, yeah, I don't know what to do. I feel like I don't see anybody taking Georgia.
No, so all right, the lacrosse podcast right now. I think Georgia has it.
We'll pick who we think is going to meet them there. How about that? Who do you think will meet Georgia?
Dude, I mean, honestly, at this point in time, probably Toronto. Wait, it doesn't work that way, does it? No, it would be... I'm looking at the standings because I don't really care about anybody else. The only other team I knew that was doing well is Buffalo and Toronto. And then you have the Western Division. Holy San Diego's on top?
Oh, dude. What? Yeah, man. San Diego, like I've been saying, not looking like an expansion
This isn't
team.
even... Well, first off, this isn't the appropriate time of the show to be talking about standings. But while we're at it, the Western Division... How's that for a transition? I cursed?
I think it worked well.
Editor, are we going to bleep out that curse? All right.
Really? Make a funny sound then instead.
Okay, what was it going to be?
I don't know.
Well, now we're after the fact, so can you explain that...
Dealer's choice.
There you go. So, yeah, let's talk about the Western Division, because this makes no sense. San Diego, doing what Philadelphia apparently is not able to do, is performing.
Well, if what you're saying is staying in playoff contention, then they are doing what Philadelphia is able to do, according to my not research.
All right. So San Diego, Calgary, Saskatchewan, Vancouver, and Colorado in that order. Colorado, big surprise being at the bottom there.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but also that's who we play next, so fortunate.
Whoop, whoop.
Hopefully,
Well, we could be above Rochester if we got that W and they copped it out. It wouldn't take much more than that. Or at least we could be evenly matched.
We're moving our way up.
All right, so Eastern Division, Toronto, Georgia, Buffalo, New England, Rochester, and Philadelphia coming in with a big Uno. I dig it.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, man, that modesty is easy to cheer for.
Look, I'm liking it. We're still playing hard. It's just it's little things. It's playing the whole game. Yeah, like we keep giving up these comebacks, but yeah, I mean, it's weird to say San Diego's looking strong, but I feel like the only people or the only teams that really can give Georgia a run are all in the Eastern Division.
Well, yeah, I think you're right. I think basically it's going to be who can land that spot, and then whatever team unfortunately has to go up against them or Buffalo.
When does Buffalo play? Does Buffalo play Georgia? I need to see that game. That's because I mean Toronto's leading the division, but I don't think they're
Buffalo Georgia's this week, bud.
All right, yes.
Yeah.
Because
all right, game
Toronto's
of the week, Buffalo, Georgia.
Yeah, that's definitely the game of the week.
Okay, so here's some interesting things talking about the entire like broad spectrum. This is why I got Georgia. Number 1 in goals, Lyle Thompson with 27 freaking goals.
Mm-hmm.
Randy, my Mandy, 18 goals. Buffalo obviously is a good contender, and Hogarth has 18 goals as well, but I'm talking the top 2 scorers in the league right now. And then in addition, number 1 saves.
Yeah, I mean,
that's insane.
Yeah. I mean, it's.
I will say this: Del Bianco, I think, is having a breakout, much better season than, and he's been my favorite keep. Period.
Yeah. Oh, Del Bianco. I guess it's.
You just had somebody didn't throw 11 more goals on him to say that's the problem.
His performances are a little. They're not as consistent. So I think that's the issue. He's having like ridiculous flawless. He's having like near flawless victory games.
No, dude, he's in the Western Division, and people aren't piping 20 goals down on him. That's the difference. That dude's insane.
Oh yeah, no, he's a monster.
But
I'm saying he's number 3 because I think he's faced a little more adversity.
Yeah, if you want. All right, let's go back down here. There's some other cool stats. Which, by the way, the NLL does a great job of laying all this stuff out. Oh shit.
Yeah, so I guess now you see why Georgia's number 1.
Yeah. You want to run through these?
Yeah, so I mean the top points and assist leader is Randy Stotts from Georgia. So again, no matter how well everybody's playing, it just seems like Georgia is just smashing people out of the
and number 2 on points, Lyle Thompson, Georgia. And again, I mean, all of these top lists, besides Del Bianco, all the top 3s are Buffalo and Georgia.
Yeah.
So basically the entire season will be played this weekend when Buffalo plays. All right, no, we're just joking. But let's take a quick break here, and we are going to get ready to run in through the games for the next week. And then we have a really amazing interview that I took down in Center City.
Oh, yeah.
Wooden sticks haven't died, they've just evolved. A hickory box lacrosse frame can still be used. It can play against plastic and metal, and in the right hands, it can win. When it's all said and done, and my stick-making days are over, it's humbling to think that my sticks will still be out there. All right, Rich, why don't you start this off with the late game, 10 p.m.
Oh, yeah. So there's only one game on Friday, and it's at 10 p.m. So actually, I don't know if that's going to be hard or easy to catch. 10 p.m. Eastern Time, Vancouver's taking on San Diego.
We live different lives. I get here at like 6:30 in the morning, and you leave at like 6 p.m.
Yeah, well, you gotta run efficiently.
I don't know. Yeah, I mean,
that's why they invented day matches.
I can tell you this. Like, no, I'll either be on my last beer or already in bed.
I'll be starting my first beer. Maybe.
Yeah, well, that's again, we live different lives. The city of Philadelphia has what you need. All right, after that, Colorado and Philadelphia.
Yeah.
My dad and I are going to be texting some heat during this game. He actually moved out there quite some time ago. But that's a good game. That's a W that Philadelphia could reasonably get.
Battle of the bottoms.
I would say I got probably, if I had to bet, I'd probably go Colorado on that just because they are a veteran squad, and I don't think that they have the same inflictions that Philadelphia's been losing by.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Philadelphia. I think on the tail of the last win, they're feeling a little fired up. And again, I don't think Colorado has,
a lot of motivation to do anything at all.
I like Colorado, so I don't want to talk to you. I don't think Colorado has what it takes to take this one from the Wings coming off the back of that victory. I think we're fired up here in Philadelphia. You don't want none. Don't come see us.
All right, hit them with the next one here.
Next is going to be Rochester versus New England at 7 p.m. Eastern Time again. So if you have to pick a game, watch Colorado versus Philadelphia.
Actually, it doesn't really matter. So you can watch 5 minutes of any of these games and then stop watching both of those games and go watch Buffalo play Georgia, which will be the biggest contention.
Oh, yeah, man.
You're literally going to... So whatever game you want to watch the face-off of, you can watch that and then turn that off and go watch Buffalo, Georgia. It's going to be a great game.
Unless you're like a supervillain hacker type and you have multiple screens of computers and you could just pull up all the games at the same time, do that.
Yeah, that'd be awesome,
because there's some good stuff coming on.
And then stop watching 2 of your screens.
I think you just need
it's going to be a good game.
Work on your peripherals.
All right, the last game, 8:30 p.m., and that's going to be Calgary versus Saskatchewan. And that brings us to our interview segment. And I was down in the NLL headquarters. I want to give all of you guys a good congratulations. It's a beautiful HQ in a very respectable area, and it's awesome that... No, I mean, that means something.
No, it's just funny, a respectable area. Yeah, it's Old City. It's pretty down there.
Yeah,
I just thought it was funny, like a respectable... It's just
it's
the oldest neighborhood.
Okay, so if you guys don't know Pennsylvania, Conshohocken is where the old HQ for the NLL was. It's really pretty. It's a nice little neighborhood, but it's straight up a suburb. It's like it's not part of the city. Yeah. We don't, you know what I mean?
We don't know them out there.
No, like people go out there to work or, like raise kids and stuff. But like, dude, they're in a fly area of Philadelphia.
Yeah, it's pretty tight.
Like you can't park your car for more than 15 minutes outside of their
you gotta
place.
get dropped off at work down there.
Absolutely, yeah. So that's cool, and I think that's great. And also, I just like that they're here. It makes me feel good.
Yeah, it feels...
Doesn't it?
It feels a little more official, honestly.
All right, let's get to it, and we will check you guys next week. Also, don't forget about the Black History Month T-shirts. You can get those on woodlacrossesticks.com, and we will be announcing the total donation in the next couple weeks. All right, I am here with Renee and Devan, and you guys are the current face of the NLL. You guys have been doing all the broadcasting, and I mean, anyone who's listening to this podcast has probably seen your show. So I just thought it was interesting. I mean, we're basically in the same city. It was like a 10-minute drive to get here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, oh yeah. And well, I did a story with you just a few days ago, last week, and we took an Uber up there, and we were like, wait, they're so close to us. It's crazy that there's...
Well, you know what's very interesting is a lot of people, I think if you ask the average fan of the NLL, they wouldn't even know that it's based out of Philadelphia. It is a pretty unassuming place.
Exactly, and that's what a lot of people don't realize is we moved our headquarters from Conshohocken, which is like the Villanova University area, into Philly, and also our studio, which was originally up in Toronto, has been brought here. So now everything is out of Philadelphia.
Yeah, it's a great year for Philadelphia for lacrosse.
It is.
But that's cool. So I just thought this would be an interesting opportunity to let the greater lacrosse community know that this is all run out of Philadelphia. I guarantee you, 9 out of 10 people don't know that.
No.
Even like the headquarters, yeah. We were saying when we were up at Bleacher Report headquarters in New York for the New York expansion team announcement, everyone at Bleacher Report was like, "Oh, so where are your headquarters located in the city?" Like thinking we were in Manhattan.
Oh yeah, you definitely thought you were gonna drop Brooklyn or something.
Yeah,
yeah.
Like, well, we're going back to Philly.
No, we actually got to get on a train.
Yeah, it's like,
It is funny though, isn't it funny how New York City people like? It's the only place in the entire country where they're like, oh, Philadelphia, that's quaint.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's the
exactly.
4th largest city in the whole country. Like, if you're in LA, they won't be like, they'll be like, oh yeah, Philadelphia.
Yeah.
But yeah, New York,
Here.
it's
They're like,
2 hours
"Not
north.
us." Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. Any sign going from south to north, it just says like 300 miles to New York City. I'm like, you're gonna go through a major metropolis.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But this is cool. So you guys have a pretty unique job, and I actually just was a guest host on your show. So thanks. We'll put a link to that in the comment section below. But you guys have a pretty rough gig. You got to watch all the lacrosse, and in one day and in 15 minutes, pack it all in. So what's that process like for you guys? You basically work over the weekend.
It's funny we were talking about that this past weekend because last weekend in week 3 there were 5 games and 3 of them were at the exact same time, and we had to figure out how to juggle all of them. And every weekend, people may not realize we do have to watch the games because we can't come on Inside the NLL or come on Face Off or anything that we're doing and not know what's going on in games and with updates with players, and we have trades going on and things like that. So it's a lot of work beyond what people see on our show. You know, there's a lot that goes into it. So we're constantly preparing. We're constantly looking for the latest news and updates to see what's going on around the league and what we can share with people beyond just game results.
Yeah, it seems like you guys, the phrase always on is a professional phrase that seems like it would apply here. Like, I honestly, I go home, I mean, I could string a stick if I wanted to, but like, I'm done.
Yeah. Even I was home, my parents lived in the Villanova area, so like they're nearby, and I was at their house over the weekend, and on Saturday night, I like bring out my laptop and my headphones, like turn on BR Live. Well, there are 3 games basically going on at the same time, but they're like, what are you doing? They're like, why aren't you watching NFL football? I'm like, I'm watching the NLL, I need to watch these games. And the games were more exciting than football games anyways. But,
that's the thing, because I know for me, I'm a big NBA, NFL fan, so now that only adds, so like Sunday, for instance, the Eagles are getting ready to beat the Bears, and then I'm watching Calgary and Colorado play before that, and it's just constantly now you're just watching more games on the weekend. So sitting at home with our families, and you know, when I'm back in Jersey with my family and we're watching, or even it's the holidays, we're still watching games.
Yeah, I can say this. Like, I like what I do, and I'm sure you guys like what you do because lacrosse is fun. And if you can get, there's always a struggle, even for the players, which is the saddest part. There's always a struggle to make lacrosse a job. Like, it's hard to pull together a living out of it because it is, you know, still very much a niche sport. So, you know, yes, I love what I do, but there is a point where it like bridges from enjoying it to a bit of an obligation. And I feel like definitely at 7:30 on a Saturday at your parents' house or whatever you're doing, or you know, you're like, no, I can't go to dinner with you. Why? I gotta log onto a laptop and put headphones in. There's going to be a time when it's trying, but I mean, you guys do a great job. You pull it all together. I got a nice detailed sheet when I walked in the door, which is great. How do you guys decide what's important?
That's, I mean, a good question. I feel like every game has a story, and every team has a story. And I think now in the beginning of the season, it makes itself apparent almost. I don't know, Renee, if you agree with this, but like for instance, the Colorado Mammoth were playing their second game at home. They lost their first game. You know, did we know they came into the season? At least I expected, and I know a lot of people expected them to come out strong, and they lost. So it's, you know, well, are they going to win? Turns out they didn't.
No, they
that's
didn't.
You know, they sure
They certainly did.
didn't have teddy bears thrown on the field this time, but that was like pretty much the only difference. But yeah, and I think that like is a clear storyline. But then you have announcements that you don't expect, like Kevin Crowley going to the Wings, and that's suddenly the biggest story when it comes to the Philadelphia Wings over their last game.
Yeah, I think a big part of it, you talk about being always on, but that preparation was what really sets us up to be able to have these storylines. Because if we're not staying engaged, even social media is a really good way. Following players, following teams, seeing what their updates are. So now you see storylines that are growing as the season's going along. You see Dane Smith of Buffalo go down in week 1, and they're following him until he gets back in week 4. You know, you see the different storylines, the Wings being 0-3, and how they're trying to get that win. And now Kevin Crowley comes into the mix. So how does this add to it? So that preparation, the preparation and always being on is what allows us to now be able to go into each week knowing here's what each team has going on, here's the storyline, and so that we can share more. I mean, anybody can pull up stats, anybody can look at a box score, but there are storylines within each win and loss that we want to try to share.
Well, you guys very much so as the main outlet, the first outlet of official NLL business. You guys do get to determine what the dialogue is. That's a bit of a responsibility.
Big responsibility.
Yeah. I mean, I can go online and I obviously, I read the reviews, things like that. I definitely did before I came in here. But whatever goes on your show is the face of what the NLL wants to project to their fans.
Yeah, and that's a big difference. If you look across some sports, you can go to ESPN and get one story, and go to Fox Sports and get the same story, and go to NBC and get the same story.
Mm-hmm.
But we have it all right here.
Yeah.
And so we have
Very
to
distilled.
read exactly, and we have the ability to control the dialogue and what's being put out there, and really showing off all the great things that's going on in the league, because we are the face of the league.
Yeah, and you mentioned, at times, does it feel like an obligation rather than enjoying watching these games and enjoying the sport of lacrosse? And I think it's an obligation to deliver, the right stories and the right content. And someone made a comment to me a few weeks ago. They were talking about, why I worked in sports, and he kind of was like, because people actually enjoy and want to watch sports, where there's news and there's different types of news, but sports, the people who are watching and our viewers, and as lacrosse continues to grow, you really feel an obligation and a want to create good content for both the sport and the existing viewers and fans that are there. And to me, that's enjoyable. And I think also, like you mentioned, social media. I mean, social media is such a huge part of not only this league, but the sport, and following the players and the fans' reactions. That's probably my favorite part, especially live tweeting during the games. That's where I find some of my favorite points and moments. Yeah,
and I think that something that people don't always realize, especially up front, we definitely dealt with this when we first started, is Devan played lacrosse. I've covered lacrosse. I didn't play lacrosse, which I wish I did, but I did coach college soccer at a Division I level and played professional soccer and was a 3-time All-American. We have a sports background. We aren't just two random women that are now stepping into the league.
So is that something you guys come into? Is that an accusation you guys hear a lot?
Oh, not anymore, but the first few weeks, definitely.
Well, you guys come on and you show your knowledge and you show your understanding of things, and I think, if something's going to shut someone up, best to lead by example. You guys know what you're talking about.
And we enjoy the game of lacrosse, both field and box lacrosse. So it's not even always like it's work and we're being forced to watch games and forced to talk about games. No, this sport, much like I enjoy watching the Lakers play or enjoy what we watch the Eagles play. It's the same thing. We like watching box lacrosse in the NLL.
Fantastic. Well, you guys have a long season ahead of you. And do you have any projects, other obviously than coming to my woodshop, that you guys have been working on that you guys want to plug real quick?
I feel like we're always working on something new. Yeah.
Follow us on social media.
Yeah.
Well,
it's an ongoing project.
And right down below, and on LaxAllStars on the correlated post, we'll actually get some links to some of the stuff that you guys enjoyed most from this year, or anything else you guys want to post. And if you guys want to see more, you can go to NLL.com, and like I said, just check the hyperlinks down below. But thank you guys for having me on, and thanks for joining us on the Lacrosse Podcast.
Yeah, thanks
for having us.